Hello everyone. So this is basically a continuation off of our basic tips video. We are gonna talk about some advanced search options here. I think the most important thing about starting through the advanced search option is focusing on these Boolean operators. So we will no longer have to be typing in public library and information technology. It'll just do it for us. So I would type in public libraries and information technology, right? And then of course you can always switch the and. You can use or not, the other basic Boolean operators as well. But for now we're gonna leave it at and. And it's also important to note that you can add as many fields as you need, just so that you're able to yield the best results possible within these searches. Before moving forward, however, I did want to go over signing in. I think it's really useful to sign in. You get many more options on how to save your work, on different resources that wouldn't necessarily be available, if you weren't signed in. So I'm just going to do just a quick sign in. It's just going to take a second. And we're just waiting for it to load. And then of course you would, pick your student credentials here to continue at EBSCO. And then there it is. It would send us right back. And then you're in because it'll say right at the top your name. And then of course you'll see a sign out button. But just like before, we would type in public libraries and information technology. And then we were kind of talking about some of the search options. If you were doing a basic search, you would get all of this, but after yielding results, right? So you can always switch the search modes to find either all your search terms or go by Boolean or phrases. You can select full text. Now, the previous basic tutorial, we did check off full text. However, I do want to talk about how much of a double-edged sword full text is. Let's say you want full text articles, it'd be fine to check it off, but it's important to know that if you do check it off, full text will limit the results to only full text results within the LIS database itself. It's not going to pull from anywhere else. There might be articles coming from just like the King Library OneSearch database that will no longer be available just because we checked off this option. But of course you always want to go with scholarly. That's one of the things that I cannot stress enough. Most of your academic work will require scholarly or peer-reviewed journals or resources to complete an assignment. And then we always again talked about the published date. You want to keep it within a certain amount. I would just go 2015 to 2022 to play it safe. And you can even check off what kind of documents you're looking for. Are you looking for an article, a bibliography, a book chapter, a book review, a case study? There's so many different document types within the database that are just super helpful. For now, I'm going to leave it to all. And then you can always pick publication type. And then if you want any type of images with your, with your search, then this is where you would select it, right? So we're just going to go ahead, dive right in, do a quick search. And it's going to take a second. Okay, so just like, anyone else, sometimes, hey, no results are found. So no biggie. What we can do, we can always flip things around. So, hey, if this didn't work, we are going to try it backwards. We're going to try information technology and public libraries. Let's just see what we get into. Okay, much better, right? So we were able to yield some results here. We got a couple of results to work with just based on these refined results, which, hey, it's not so bad. However, there are other interesting things that you can do now that you're signed in. For example, let's say you you like this article. Hey, you found it interesting, right? You want to click on it and just give it a second. And you want to focus more on your tools. Now that you're signed in, you have an add to folder file that will put all of the articles that you're looking for within the one search in a folder for you, right? And then once you're done and you want to go over that folder to see what's going to be useful, you would just select folder up here. And then of course, give it a second to load. And then, you'll see your results. And you're able to delete items and, select or deselect. And it will also tell you what kind of materials are in here. So you don't have to necessarily guess or, have to be stressing about it. So let's go back for a second. I also wanted to go over the cite option. When you are writing papers, when you're completing work, it's really, really important, right, to always cite your sources. Well, luckily, the LISS database will do it for you. So as you can see here, however, it is important to note that capitalization, personal names, dates are not always correct. So it is up to you as a student to go over these and make sure that you are citing as concisely and correctly as possible. So that's another great thing, that the database provides. Lastly, I wanted to talk about permalink, or lastly on this page, I should say, I wanted to talk about permalinks. I know a lot of the times when students are working in a team with other users, or they're just trying to get an opinion, right, on an article that they found, you can always select, or copy the permalink, and it will be a direct way for the person that is reaching, or trying to reach the article that you're reading to have an easier time to get there. So I think they're super helpful in that sense, these permalinks. And just, even just if you want to compile a list off, on your laptop, that's also a great way to do it. But, it's just useful. However, I did also want to go over the thesaurus option. So as you saw, we had a little hiccup, right, when we put in our first search terms. However, if you are, running into that issue often, you can use the search bar here in the thesaurus, for example, to come up with other terms for information technology, or maybe you need a little inspiration on what to type in. What are you looking for? There's different things like information technology outsourcing. Does it need to be a paper that also covers overseas? Does it need to be information technology management? How are these resources being managed? In libraries, in different settings, you are able to yield results that will then hopefully help when you search, in the future again. And again, there's no biggie. You can always try again, and hopefully within that time frame, come up with something that will be useful. But thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope this tutorial was helpful.